Welcome back, traders. Today we're going to be picking up from where we left off in regards to my analysis of gold, using the volume profile to assist with this overall process. So we're just going to get into it because obviously I'm not sure if you are aware, but the volume profile right now is one of the best indicators that I am using right now to assist with my trades. From the moment I started using it, I realized that okay, this particular tool is something special about it, and moving forward there is another component that is missing from the volume profile, and that would be the chart footprint. Right now, I don't have chart footprint on my chart at the moment because I've tried it. I tried it before, not too long ago, and I found an issue with it that I just did not like, right? So if I'm going to rely on something like that, I kind of want it to be dead on. But however, the volume profile works great. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking up from where we left off from last week's analysis, and we're just going to flow with that and see what other opportunities we can spot within the gold market, especially if you are like me in the sense that you are looking only for long positions in gold. So you're looking for the best positions to actually lock in on with your buys. Whenever it comes to talking about gold or silver on this channel, I would never mention taking sell orders, right? Because for those assets, we're only looking for buying positions, like point blank and simple. Only buying positions only. Anything else, yeah, we talk about, yeah, look for selling opportunities here and there. But bottom line is gold, silver, we don't look for selling opportunities at all. We're only looking for buys. Unless obviously you reach the point where you want to offload into some profit, then by all means you sell. But other than that, we're not looking for sells at all. We used to, not anymore. So moving forward, we're on an hourly chart at the moment because I looked at the day and there isn't really so much I can really talk to you guys about that I think is super useful for this discussion that I'm going to be discussing with you today in regards to gold, right? So picking up from where we need to be, or just tapping into where we actually need to be in regards to gold. In this area over here, we had a weekly low that was locked up in this location right here, okay? Now this weekly low tapped in nicely to a mini swing high before market did the push to the upside after the trend line, this particular trend line, was broken, right? Okay. So this is a signature move right here that I look out for in certain assets to help me lock in positions. Now, in this area over here, I had another opportunity. And we talked about this in the last gold video to put in some buys on gold. Now, in my opinion, it made no sense to do so. Why? Because I'm already tapped in at similar locations to this one. And if I'm averaging into an asset, I want there to be various distance between them, okay? So it's not a cluster of orders all sitting in one place. It's just various orders spread out. So if something should go wrong, right, it doesn't create too much damage than if you just have a cluster of orders in one place because there is no order to how you're averaging in to a particular asset, right? So I saw no point in tapping into this location over here. But however, if you have been monitoring the situation, okay, you would have seen a fantastic opportunity for yourself to do something along those lines. So first I'm going to bring in a little vertical levels over here. We're going to lock this in place. Then we're going to draw a little trend line up here. Right. Going to draw a little trend line up here. So now that we've got a little trend line in there, now we can see that price was on a descending channel downwards, and then this trend was broken, and then price flew off. And then we had the day where Donald Trump basically we had conflicting data about him firing the Fed chair. So that was that right here. We had a push to the upside, and then it was like, oh no, he didn't say that, he meant something else. Then he came all the way back down again, right? But this is the area, so you'd have seen this and you'd be like, okay, yeah, great. The channel broke over here, and obviously price has taken off. That is fantastic. But however, what I want to share with you now is not that. It is this. This is what I want you to notice, because these are the things that I keep an eye out the most. And that is this little situation right here. And these are the continuous repeating patterns that you will see in market all the time, right? And once again, so let me just point that out to you. I don't even know if there is a name for this, if there is a name for this maneuver. I'm sure there is, right? So let me just move this here. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna zoom in. And what we can see is price tapped into this zone over here before moving off, right? Before moving off. And this thing repeats, so that would have been your first warning system to tap into the market to ride it because it was turning around, right? That there would have been your first system had you registered it, okay? Then you would have had another opportunity right here to do exactly this, the same thing again. So let's lock in from this position over here, and what we can see is the same thing that happened over here is the same thing that's happened over here, and it's the same thing that happened in this area also before price took off. And that is price tapped into this area. Whoops. If I can just find the thing. Okay. So price tapped into this area right here, which is going to be, let's say, 3344.90, right? And that is it right here before taking off. And this was done in the early hours of the morning, right? So to track everything properly on your chart is going to be super busy. Super busy. So you would need to work out a real simple way of getting everything locked in on your chart. So it's not easy as, because look, I'll put it to you like this, right? Yeah, market analysis is hard, but you can simplify the process once you know the process. That is the annoying part of this entire system. So I'm going to get rid of these levels for now, because I think I've showed you a bit of a gem. So if you wasn't aware of that little technique, you want to kind of have that going on your charts. That's really important, that you really do have that on your charts, especially when the trend is going to break. Where do trends like to bounce from? So you got to think of it like this. Market is moving in a particular kind of way. So I'm just trying to clear some space here. So market is moving in a particular kind of way. So it's going like this, going like that, going like this, going like that, going like that. But what it does at these levels right here, it always tends to line up with something else. So it's like, look. So let's say like this, right? So you get stuff like that happening where they line up. They line up with each other, right? So that is the kind of move that you'll be looking for. You got to keep your eye out for. So there is so many different versions of this technique playing out in the market at all times, right? You just got to find the repeating ones and tap into them, and then use that to help yourself in this situation. So bottom line is this: with gold up here, would I be looking to be taking in buys from this location? Okay, so at this point, I could be looking to take buys from that location, but why would I want to do that when is in a channel. So it's in the channel right now. Okay, this is the channel that gold finds itself in, right? It finds itself in this channel right now. So I'm looking for buys from down here, but I'm not looking for sells unless I'm actually selling the market, and I'm not doing that. So I would want to sell from up here and I'll be buying from down here, right? But as it stands, we're only interested in buys from down here. And this buy that I mentioned in this area is the one I took over here. And then my most recent buy was down here. Now I didn't buy over here and I haven't bought over there because of my purchase in this area, right? So I will need it to go higher and then produce a swing low, and then I can tap in. That's the only time these trades will make sense to me. If done any other way, essentially what I'm doing is I'm building up a cluster, and the cluster can go horribly wrong if not done properly. Hence why I'm doing it in such a level. Okay, so as it stands now, what I would be doing right here is I'm going to be putting in another trend line right here. So one thing that you notice is that my my gold chart has a lot of trend lines. Has a lot of trend lines, right? Because trend lines are solid. I'm not gonna lie to you, they are absolutely solid. So we've got another. So we put a trend line here, perfect. Then we're gonna zoom back, and then we're gonna see if there's anything that we should be concerned about. And what we can see is that we have a low volume node in this area right here. So I'm gonna highlight this area because this is an area of interest to me. So we've got a low volume node in that area right here, and we have a low volume node at the bottom as well. So we've got a low volume node down here. All right. So now that we can see that, the next thing that I want to take a look at is to see where everybody is positioned. Are there a situation with an alternate view to what I have? So what we have over here is we've got a selling situation right here. So we've got a selling situation right here. Now, like I said, it's not enough to drive market all the way down. Chances are all of these are stop losses. In my opinion, I believe a fair bit are stop losses. So we can say all the guys that are buying here have their stop losses here. Because sometimes when I'm looking at the delta of the volume profile, I try to see myself as traders just doing things that just make sense. Especially when I see like breaks of stop losses in various positions. So for example, I would say these sells up here are in line with stop losses of buys, of sells that are located in this area over here, right? So the guys that are selling the market will have their stop losses up here, right? Which in all fairness is gonna get hit. So if no one's told them, I would like to tell them that's gonna get hit. That is practically guaranteed. That stop loss is going to get hit. Right? That is if they are stop losses. If they're selling from that location, they will have their stop losses up here. So we can kind of see what the sellers are doing, right? So their stop losses up here if they're selling from over here. And once again, I can tell these guys your stop loss is going to get hit. It's going to get hit. There is no two ways about that, right? As one way or the other, market is going to take those stops. So, and then we've got buys. Then we've got buys from certain locations, right? So we've got buys, say from up here, a whole bunch of buys. We've got a whole bunch of buys, and then we have their stop losses under here, right? So that's how this whole thing kind of looks to me. I can kind of see where everybody is positioned. I'm more than happy with where I am currently located in the market, right? So if I drag the data across, I can see that where I'm located is absolutely fine. And I'm overall I'm happy with that. We just need to clear this low volume node area over here, and then we're all good. So with that said and done, I hope you find the content useful, right? If you stayed with the content up until now, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you turn on the notification, and you drop us a like. And I will see you all on the next one.